Hello everyone and welcome back. It is time for Tarot Talk. And the cards that we're going to talk about today are the Hermit through Death. So as we've talked about before in other videos in this series, how you interpret the cards personally is a very individual thing. Yes, all the cards in a normal run-of-the-mill tarot have very specific meanings. It is a very specific system, but that's not to say that you cannot expand on the meanings of the cards. It's not to say that artists and authors won't include symbols and icons and things within their tarot cards that expands on the meaning. So reading the tarot, again, is a very personal thing. The way that I read the tarot is different. The way the Raven reads the tarot, the way she reads the tarot is going to be different from the way you read the tarot. And it's okay, as long as you're getting the results that you're seeking. Again, the tarot is a tool, and how you use that tool is entirely up to you. So let's go ahead and start. The first card we're going to talk about is the Hermit. Now this is the, what deck is this? This is the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot. So when we're talking about the Hermit, I see the Hermit as someone who needs to take the time to step back, step out of their current situation. It's someone that needs to be a little bit more introspective and maybe go inside of themselves to process the information or process the situation that they are dealing with. The Hermit symbolizes for me when he comes up in a tarot reading, it symbolizes wisdom. It symbolizes, again, introspection, knowledge. It can be a sign that you need to step out of where you're at right now and step out of that situation and take some time for yourself so you can rethink the direction in which you're going. It can also be simply that when the Hermit pops up in a reading, that this is a time that the person, the client, needs to take a break from everything and everyone around them. So he's really a lot about isolation, introspection, wisdom. You can see that in the card. He's carrying his lamp. He's lighting his own way. And that is really important when we're dealing with the Hermit, because ultimately no one can light the way except for you. You can get advice, you can get guidance from people, but ultimately your path is yours to walk, and you have to light it and you have to walk it by yourself. So that's what I see when I see the Hermit. Now, the next one in the series, the next one in a tarot deck is the Wheel of Fortune. I've never really connected well with this card. To me, the Wheel of Fortune is about constant change and constant motion. It's a card of good luck and positivity. It is very much a card of action. And with the Wheel of Fortune, that can be associated with work. It can be associated with education. It can be associated with the person needing to either be more active and more positive in the direction in which they're going, or it can also be that with the Wheel of Fortune, everything has come together. You know, you're looking at good luck and things meshing and all of the pieces of the puzzle coming in together. So that's what I see when I see the Wheel of Fortune. The next one that we're going to talk about briefly is Justice, and that's pretty much self-explanatory. When you look at the Justice card, people automatically think legal matters, court, things of that nature. And while those are true, justice also has a deeper meaning. It is about balance, keeping things in balance. It is about wisdom and knowledge and the ability to make the right decision. And it is about weighing your options and being able to pick the right direction or the right answer for you. With this particular justice image, you see that she does have the owl sitting with her. And of course, owl, again, wisdom, knowledge, sometimes keeping things silent, maybe not always blurting out the first thing that comes in mind. If it pops up, if justice pops up in a reading and it's about, let's say justice pops up in a love reading and you're wondering how this card corresponds to the question of love, it can be interpreted that in the question of love, that the romance or the partnership is very well balanced. Now, on the flip side of that, if justice is reversed and she pops up in a love reading, it can be telling you that, hey, things are not the way that they should be. Things are out of balance. Maybe you're not being fair in how you are interacting with your partner. So again, we're looking at very basic meanings. And again, these are a lot more in depth, but we're going to try and keep this short. So, I like seeing the justice card pop up in a reading. I'm generally not too thrilled when she shows up in reverse. If I had to assign an element to justice, justice to me would be very much an earth-based card, whereas the Wheel of Fortune, I would either attribute air or fire to that. And with the Hermit, I would attribute to an earth or an air. The reason I would say air in regards to the Hermit is because there is a lot of intellect involved when you're dealing with the Hermit. And anything involved in the intellect or the intellectual mind is generally air. So, all right, so we've done Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, Justice, and now we're going to touch on the Hanged Man. Now, he is an interesting card. With the Hangman, we're talking about a lot of self-sacrifice. Generally, when I see the Hangman come into play for reading, it tells me that the person is overdoing it. It's that they're doing a lot of sacrifice, a lot of self-sacrifice for situations that maybe they don't need to be sacrificing for. With the Hangman, it can also talk about things being in limbo and not really having a concrete end in sight. When we're dealing with the Hangman, we're dealing with someone who can control his situation, but has chosen for whatever reason not to. So when we're talking about the Hanged Man, there's a lot of elements attributed to him, and some people see the Hanged Man as a negative. I don't necessarily read the Hanged Man as a negative. For me, the Hanged Man is simply a warning to look at the situation in which you're in and ultimately take back that element of control that you've given to someone else, you've given to a situation, that you have willingly handed someone over. So that's one of the things that I see when I see the Hangman. And if I had to attribute an element to him, I would say probably earth or water. The reason being an elemental of water or a water element is the Hanged Man can be a very emotional card. Sometimes for us to let go of things that we have clung to for so long, and sometimes self-sacrificing ourselves or martyring ourselves for situations can be a very emotional thing. and we get very deeply tied in our emotions. So that's why I would, me personally, the Hangman feels like water to me. All right. And last for today is Death. Now, I cannot tell you how many times the Death card has popped up in people's readings and their faces go, ah! People, while it can symbolize physical death, it generally does not symbolize physical death. When the Death card pops up, the Death card is about transformation. It's about change. It's about letting go of things that no longer serve you in a positive nature. It's about putting those things behind you so you can be reborn. It's about, and yes, it does have connotations of endings, but also endings of situations, endings of ways of thinking, endings of, like I said, things that don't serve you, that you don't need, that you've outgrown. So the big thing about death is it is about transformation. It is about change. It is about evolution. And so, you know, you have to let go of the feeling of death as being a bad thing. Because in the tarot deck, at least for me, death is simply a changing of one situation to another. We evolve, we grow, we change, we put things behind us that we no longer need so that we can embrace other things coming to us. Now, let's say the Death card does pop up and the question is my relationship in danger? Or is my partner going to leave me? And the Death card pops up, then yeah, there is a good chance that that relationship is going to end. That relationship is going to change, and maybe not change in a manner that makes you happy. So yeah, while the Death card seems very, very ominous, it's about how you view it and how you personally embrace it. So don't be afraid of the Death card. Too many people are. So that has been the Hermit through Death. And this has been Deja with Twisted Sisters Mojo. Please do us a favor. Hit that like or subscribe button. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you think, how you interpret these cards, what you see about these cards. And we will see you on the next tutorial.